welcome back to another episode of So There's That. I am your hostess, doing the mostest Ski, and we are here with the mid-season finale of It Welcome to Derry, titled 29 Neibolt Street. The writer for this episode is Brad Caleb Kane. The director is Emmanuel Osei Kuffour Jr., and the cinematographers are Luc Montpellier and Paul Sarossy. So, if y'all are looking at the timestamp on this episode is not as lengthy as the other four episodes that I've covered. Um, I will say the reason for that is twofold. One, it's Thanksgiving weekend. Like, are y'all gonna be listening to me for an entire hour? Probably not. But two, I think overall this episode did exactly what it needed to do. But as far as like the meat and the potatoes, I feel like this episode gave us the meat, but we didn't really have no side dishes. So as far as like how I felt overall about the episode and how much I could get in and dig and dissect and grab wasn't as much as the last episode. Does that mean that the episode was not good in my eyes? Absolutely not. It was an incredible setup and a nice like bow on the first half of this series. So did exactly what it was supposed to do and gagged us along the way. So first thing I want to address, know your eyes are not failing you. The kids have gotten older. When they first started doing the first couple of episodes, it was back in I think like 2021, 2022. As y'all know, there was a writer strike, actor strike, everybody was on strike in 2023. And so kids grow, they hit puberty. And there was a point, it was in the sewers actually, it was 2 points where I really noticed is Will's height difference and then Marge being even more significantly taller than Rich. And I'm like, wait a minute. So I had to do a little research because I know I wasn't crazy. And even when you see the beginning of this episode, when they do the close up on Marge in the hospital, she has that teenage look, like that 15, 16-year-old face, and not the 12, 13-year-old face. So that is what happened. Y'all are not losing it. Pennywise is not slipping into your living rooms and making y'all see things that aren't true. So let's get that settled. Um, so first thing I want to address, so there's six real things I want to address, and then there are like we're still gonna do, the behind the scenes section as well as like some predictions and stuff that I have. Not too crazy. Um, but we'll try to still keep this as formatted as close to possible. So the first thing I want to talk about is, did y'all notice the theme song change? So if you go back to episode 2, when we first got introduced to the actual theme song, and you listen to episode 5, around the time where the explosion scene happens and they're getting into the theater, it sounds like there's wind coming from a tunnel. And so it kind of makes this a little bit darker and a little bit more sinister. And like, I noticed some people were like, something is off with the theme song, and they couldn't really pinpoint it. I keep telling y'all need to be watching and listening to the introductions of these shows. There's so many nuggets. A lot of people will put images in there that pertain to like something critical happening in the episode. You'll see stuff removed from the images. Like the fact that there's still like cinematography and storytelling in the title cards. Please know that these people are working hard to like make you think and make you wonder and gag you. So stop skipping the intro, y'all, because that was a major setup to like something even more ain't right. But jumping right into the biggest gag, and the It official page even commented on my tweet because I was like, I did not see this coming, and I tried to get non-spoiler tweets the entire watch. Um, and they were like, expect the unexpected. But I didn't see Maddie coming. And so I want to just play the scene. We're gonna do like a little reaction to some of the stuff that I'm talking about, and then we're just kind of gonna dissect what's going on. So let me pull this up so we can go over this together. Pennywise knows that. Okay. Answer this question while I get ready to pull this up. Who y'all think play with their victims the most? Pennywise or Freddy Krueger? I'm I'm looking for some answers. Okay. But let's pull this up. Let me turn the volume up. Turn the volume up. Volume up.
Teddy was dead when I dragged him in it. His skull was ripped open, and
what?
Paige's brain's right in front of me.
I think I'm gonna be sick.
And Susie. One of her arms was gone. They just left her there. All night, bleeding out, and crying. Until she stopped.
Y'all. So it was already gaggy enough that his pale ass came out this tent. Now, first I was just like, something is not right. Like his skin looks really weird. Like, what is going on? Like, but you just, you move past it. After a while, I be having to tell myself, like, let it go. Like, maybe it's not what you think it is. And so when it turns out to be exactly what you think it is, and then you go back and watch this scene, and it's like, Pennywise, you sadistic bitch. You literally sat here in front of these kids that you've been terrorizing, and you told them how you ate their friends to their face. What is wrong with you? Like, insane. Like, just finishing it and know what you know and going back is just like, they never stood a chance. Never stood a chance. Honestly, like, Ron, even before this scene, she's like, oh, if Marge wants to help, maybe she can go to the cops. Girl, nobody's going to help you. Nobody's going to believe you. Let it go. Stop believing in the law. Stop believing in logic. Girl, I need you to let it go. It looks like another kid just TKO'd. Like, let it go, girl. It's y'all or nothing. Like, just stop. And so we're kind of going through this thing, and they're going with Maddie, and they're following all the things, and he's selling it. Don't tell nobody I'm here. They're gonna send me back to my dad. I'd rather go back to the sewers than go to the cops or go back home. Like, I'll run away again. Like, I mean, he is tying them in and us, because like, well, you know what? If he was in the sewers, then he wasn't really getting no sun, so maybe he would be pale, like, because of that. Well, I think I saw him eating some chips. Like, when you start to think back to him, it's like, did he take the pills? Did he eat the snacks? You really start to question everything he did in that scene. But he was selling them a dream. Selling them a dream. So moving into like Hallorann and the major storyline just a little bit. Are y'all paying attention to who's involved in a kid's business and who's not? Okay, I'm gonna need y'all to pay attention. So we are here and we're coming out of everything that just happened with Hallorann going into Daniel's head. Major's like, nah, bruh. Everything you've been selling me, no. You're gonna have to pull the whole wool off of whatever it is that you got going on, because this is not normal. This is not right. And what does he do? He gonna get his child. He gonna get his wife. And he packed them the fuck on up out of Derry. We're moving on base where we got weapons, where we got people who can protect us. And when you look at, as he's getting this information, as he's realizing weird stuff is happening and something is wrong with Derry, instead of keeping the information to himself, he goes and gets his family and was like, hey, everything I'm going to tell you, you're just going to have to believe me, and got up on out of there. And then when you look at the opposite, where it's like Lilly, specifically, because we don't know where them other parents at. Like, honestly, they don't have parents at this point. But when you look at the other parent that we've really seen outside of Hank, obviously, and you look at Lily's mom, when Lilly told her something that was kind of like unreal or like a weird situation had happened, she went and put her in an inpatient facility. When Will was telling his mama and even telling his dad and all this other stuff, he doubled down on being around them and protecting them. And that is really important, not only just to the plot and the fact that this is kind of centering around the Black family, the Hanlons, but it really speaks to how the Black characters are going to survive. Like, it's safety and strength in numbers, and I'm just waiting for Ronnie to be under their care. Honestly, the rest of the kids too, because at this point, Charlotte is a mama to everybody. If Will says me and my friends are in danger, Charlotte is like, okay, we're gonna do everything we can to protect you and your friends. Where they mamas at, we don't know. But the next scene that I wanted to talk about, and it's my favorite scene, and again, Chris Chalk just steals every moment. Even when he's not in it, you can just feel his presence. So the scene where he's trapped inside of his head after they get into the tunnels, and it's his grandma being like, don't let him open that box, and he's being haunted by his grandfather, who is Pennywise, and they're like, open the box, open the box, open the box. And so everybody's like, what is the box? Like, what does this mean? And even my friend was texting me like, okay, I got two things. Like, what does this mean? And what does this mean? So for those of you who aren't familiar with the lore and did not see Dr. Sleep, where an older Hallorann is explaining to somebody else with the shining, like, inside of this box, like, this is your gift. This is your light. This is what allows you to see and allows you to have your psychic abilities. But over the years, when you're kind of afraid of the full power, his grandmother taught him to like lock all those things in the box. All the scary things that you feel, all the evil spirits, all those other things, like put them in there. In terms of this series, it's more than like locking away the bad things, locking away the spirits. It's the totality of his powers. And if you've seen the movie and you know, like, they shot the little rock with the like the stone, the nugget, with the slingshot into the light that was inside of Pennywise's chest. So it's kind of like similar. Everybody who has the shining has it in them some way, shape, or form. And while it is powerful, it can also be manipulated and exploited and be your greatest vulnerability. And Pennywise targets people with the shining. Y'all following? So by getting him to open it up, he's exposing the most vulnerable parts of himself, and he's been locking it away for so long that it's going to be even harder to put it back away, because now your powers are unfiltered and it's untethered, which means if you can't control how it's out in the world, Pennywise can now control how he gets in you. So let's look at this scene, because it is hands down, to me, the best scene of this episode. So let's get another look, shall we? Okay, so we're not gonna do the whole thing. I ain't trying to get flagged for copyright, but we're gonna do a good chunk of this, and we're gonna start with the grandma saying, "Don't let him get it."
You know what's in there, boy. Don't let them open it.
Nowhere you can bury that I can't find. You hear me?
They're gonna get you, Dickie. Keep that box closed.
Let it all go. Come on, boy. Open it up.
I ain't opening shit.
I ain't telling you one more time.
I ain't
Open the
opening
damn
shit.
box. Open the damn box!
No. You got to put that back where you got that from, because I'm not opening it.
Oh, you what?
I'm not.
Oh, you what? Oh, you what? Oh, you what? What you gonna do? Huh? Oh, what you gonna do, boy? You won't open it? We'll open it together.
No.
Count of three. Ready?
Stop. Put it down.
1.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Stop. Don't do that. Stop.
2.
No. Don't do that. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. What is that? Who are you? Get out. No.
Y'all, oh my God. First off, calling him boy and then being like, boop, boop, boop. Like, I say again, who plays with their victims the most? Pennywise or Freddy Krueger? Because this is insane. This is insane. But the perfect scene to really explain and to like crack open or at least start to explain Hallorann's actual powers. We've only been seeing a little bit, but going into Daniel's head, baby, it was a wrap. And I knew it was a wrap. This was a setup not only like to get to Hallorann's powers and what that means, but I also wonder if Pennywise knows that they are looking to unearth where he is. And so he knows that there's a disturbance. He wants this disturbance. He's trapped inside the woods, and there's been fractures and fragments that allowed him to play outside of those bounds, which was told in the previous story. He got power, he got fear, and he was able to expand his reach, which is why he was able to be Maddie. But I wonder if Pennywise is kind of through Francis and his obsession. I wonder if Francis has been seeing some things that is causing him to go and search for this. Not because as a kid he really wanted to know what this was, but he's been seeing some disturbances that is leading him down that path, and he's being manipulated by Pennywise to get all the correct players in the game for Pennywise to come to his full powers. Because once he was seen in the plane, so once Hallorann was seen, now it's like, oh, Pennywise like, who are you? Because you see me and now I see you. Oh, baby, we're getting up out of here. And so I'm just kind of curious how that part is going to play out. I would really love to know the truth behind Francis, because I think he's been lying this whole time. Everything he's been saying and trying to sell people has been all like some political mumbo jumbo, and I'm really just trying to get some answers. And he's telling everybody else it's a weapon, it'll be good. I just feel like there is something else going on with him. Like, y'all remember in the 90s story where he was haunting that man in the inpatient facility and he would hide under his bed as a dead friend? I think something like that is happening with Francis. Y'all tell me, but it's just something is not right with why he's willing to go this far and sacrifice this many people for this. When I feel like he knows the consequences of the discovery. Like, you can't tell me that he don't know. I don't know. But this leads us to Pennywise's introduction. The perfect setup. First off, I love how in this scene they were like, yo, I think we took way too many Benzies, yo, like, I feel weird. And the moment shit started going down, baby, them pills were out their system. this is the first time these kids have felt that feeling when people be like, I sobered up real quick. They sobered up real quick, but not quick enough. Let's roll that beautiful bean footage, shall we? First off, I've never been happier to see a psycho murderer into the screen. Hello, I've been waiting. And it was just like, while they were sobering, as they were seeing all of their dead friends come up the water, and then when they finally saw Maddie's dead body and they looked back up, that was one of the moments where I think, like, not only did the fear grip them, but I think too, the benzos started activating again, and they just was stuck in place. Because you see Maddie's dead body, but you looking up, and you just can't help but be stuck in place because you have to know. And they're still under the influence of drugs, but they're also under the influence of fear. And it has latched on, and it is giving Pennywise everything he needs to make a full and complete transformation. What is the first thing he says? Duck and cover, kiddos. Sir. So they're getting chased through these tunnels. Everybody else is in them tunnels. Tanya done dropped the damn weapon, and who knows where he is. People getting picked off left and right. And who else is getting toyed with? Major. So they were already told, whatever you see in the tunnels that's not supposed to be there, shoot. It is what it is. So Pennywise is playing around with Major bad, with Charlotte of all people. So obviously Charlotte ain't supposed to be down there. But Russo is standing there and he's like, you know, what is it? Like, what's up? Like, I don't see what you're seeing. And so that is very pivotal with this moment and with this situation, because Pennywise is playing with the thing that Major loves the most. And so after he shoots it, he goes back to Russo. Whatever you see and hear down here that is not supposed to be down here, shoot it. No questions asked, right? Now, he had an injury that affected his fear response. But he had a little fear in his eyes, a little bit. Now, Pennywise might be the cure. And reactivate his amygdala and the hormones, because he was locked in and he was focused. He was scared, or at least his body had the memory of being afraid, because even in the room when he was getting beat up and he's fighting everybody else, and Hallorann was like, I could see you calculating and analyzing and doing all this stuff like you weren't afraid. I think the visual of seeing his wife in front of him in this manner, his memory wasn't jacked up. And so I think his memory of just always wanting to keep his family safe, maybe wondering the worst thing that could happen while he was gone, I think caused his body to have physiological response. Wasn't the type of fear that the kids are feeling, or even Russo standing next to him, but there was something in his eyes that was like a recognition of like, this is my worst nightmare come true. So they're moving along and he hears Will's voice and he like, I know that this ain't my damn son down here too. Like, I don't know what's down here, but it's literally playing at the heartstrings. So the kids are running around and Will comes into frame in slow motion. And I love the sound effects of this scene, because now not only does Major have tunnel vision, but his hearing is like deafening a little bit. Now, the only way I can describe this is if you're underwater, or if you've ever done a sport where the gun is going off. So like I ran track, and when they say, even now, even when I watch people run and I hear those on your mark, And they get down, get set. And when the butt is up, there's something that happens in that moment where you don't even hear the words go. You don't hear the crowd. You don't hear anything. You're just waiting for the sound of that pistol to go off. And so that's the sound effect that's happening as Will is coming around. Every voice is going lower and lower, to include Russo's, telling him, I see it. I see him. I see him. And when Russo realizes that Major is locked in, he jumps in front of the gun to keep his best friend from doing the worst thing that he could do in his entire life. And he ends up saving Will's life. And so obviously things are coming back in. The kids are screaming. They're running from Pennywise. They're coming in and they're facing a gun. Will got the gun pointed in front of him. He's like, I don't even know what's happening. Do I die back there or do I die right here? Like, what is going on? But this is a big realization that the adults and the children, or at least some adults, are on the same page, right? So Major's like, what the hell are y'all doing down here? Like, get out of this tunnel. And he picks up Russo and he carries him out of the tunnel. Obviously, he passes away. It's a gunshot right to the heart. But if Russo didn't do that, this would have been way, way worse. And it just really pissed me off because at this point, General Shaw killed Russo. Like, you sent these people down there to their deaths. But shout out to Rose, because Rose, when she was telling Daniel, you gonna keep this? I don't care what happens, keep this on you and get your ass out of there. And they even cut off their sentence where it was like, they don't know. She was like, I know. And so she was like, y'all want to keep forcing it? Boom, because you have no idea what you're getting into. And clearly, they ain't got no idea what they're getting into. And what does General Shaw do? Blame her, talking about, they didn't tell us everything that was going on. Sir, she told your ass don't go down there. What more do you want? But, just like a white man to blame the natives, but, it is what it is. But the last scene, second to last scene, I want to show is actually, I'm back and forth because I need to get ready to go to work. This is my dedication. So I'll actually pull up the scene where Hallorann sees Russo. I hope I saved this scene. He's scrolling. Do I have it? I don't have it. But let's talk about the scene. So again, my friend was on my phone. She was like, what is up? Why does he see dead people? All these other things. I already explained the box from the previous scene and what that means. So Hallorann is coming out of the tunnels. We never saw Daniel come out of the tunnels. And he is like in a whole mind fuck right now. And we see the spirit of Russo, dead, lost, and wandering. But he turns around and he makes eye contact with Hallorann. And so that's the final scene of this episode. And so, again, this speaks to, it wasn't just evil spirits and things that was going into the box. Hallorann can now freely interact with all of the spirits that's around him. And they can see and interact with him. And so while his grandmother was trying to protect him, it's scary when you're a kid and, it's like Sixth Sense. I see dead people and you're scared. You don't know why they're here. And so instead of just spacing it, or maybe she didn't even know all of what the powers could do. That's what happens when ancestors pass away and they're, ripped from the family homes and you're losing recipes and you become afraid of what you actually are. And Hallorann is quite powerful because he's kind of been exercising this power, but not to his full abilities. So now that it's out there, he has kind of the capabilities to use the spirits, at least like the good ones, to his advantage to try and aid in retrapping and killing Pennywise for good. Is it for good? No. But it's like now all of the major players in all of the major situations are set. Like we all on the game board here. So there's that, guys. Season 1, episode 5 of It Welcome to Derry, 29 Neibolt Street. I know I skipped over a lot of things, but that's what the comments are for. First and foremost, the biggest thing that I truly loved is that this was actually filmed like a mid-season finale and not just like an episode 5. Like, oh my God, look at all these things that happened. Like, if Welcome to Derry did not come back this Sunday and waited like 2 to 3 weeks, I would be like, yes, this was a mid-season finale. So I like that we're getting the feel of a full season order in this show. So it makes me really excited for what's going to happen on the back half of this season. They could be gone until January, and I would be satisfied with where we left off. But moving into some predictions. Okay. So I feel like we'll actually see more of Pennywise haunting the adults, because this can be the first time. Well, obviously it's not the first time of Inklings, but I just feel like, especially with Lilly, like something is telling me that her mama used to get haunted or somebody in her family disturbed something in the land, because she is getting it. Pennywise is gunning for her bad. I mean, out of everybody, yes, the other kids got separated, but it seemed like he wanted her anyway. And the only reason he didn't get her, the funniest scene in here, is because Daniel dropped the relic and it ended up warding him off. So we actually got to see it. It was really cool. Not only like the scary, like the full throttle, no holds bar, scary on Pennywise, but we also saw him experience fear for the first time in this form. So Lily's like, okay, bet, you gunning for me? You already know she finna share the tea with the rest of them kids come next episode. It is up. It is up. And now with that, I feel like their paths are going to lead back to Rose in some way, shape, or form. And this is where we're going to maybe fashion additional weapons out of this one thing. Because ain't nobody finna go through this house on Neibolt Street to get to the rest of these pillars. We're not doing that. No, thank you. But this may be where we get more modernized weapons from the crystal that encased him in the first place. So I'm hoping that this is what happened. We get to Rose quick, fast, and in a hurry, because Major is not keeping secrets from his wife. Will ain't keeping secrets from his mama. And at this point, we done all seen some stuff. So we need to start sharing information. That's the only way that you can survive. I don't think Daniel is dead. So while he doesn't have the relic anymore, Pennywise was pretty much occupied elsewhere. And if Daniel knows the stories, then Daniel might actually know how to get to one of the other 13 pillars and get on the outside of the bounds that are keeping Pennywise in as best as they can. It seems like this particular pillar is compromised, but maybe the other 12 aren't. So I'm hoping Daniel made it out and can get back to Auntie Rose, because this would be a pointless sacrifice. And if he dies, I just don't see Rose working with Francis in that manner anymore, because once again, y'all are the reason that my people, my family, my blood are dying because of you. At this point, Charlotte's already on go mode, but I feel like it's about to be times 1,000. Like, it's up. She about to do everything. She getting the MLKs, the JFKs, the RFKs, all of the other FKs. Not just with this corrupt police department, but baby, we got stuff to do. And I feel like she might, this could go one of two ways. I think she might keep Major to kind of get as much information from General Shaw as he can, so that she and the kids and Rose and everybody else can use that information to do their own little thing to try to stop the military, or she might actually beg her husband, you need to find a way to get from around all of these other things because I cannot lose you. So this can kind of go either way with them. And so I'm curious to see what happens with that. I feel like it's going to be the former, especially when they realize that Hallorann is alive. And now that Major didn't tell the whole truth of how Russo died in the first place. So he knows there's some shit we got to keep close to the vest. And it's not a lot of people I could talk to about this. So he has already talked to Hallorann about this. Charlotte might share that she talked to Rose about this. And hopefully the 4 adults with these children can come together and start to do something that can not only keep them safe, but kind of like fortify them with enough tools to battle him once he comes. Drugs, not one of them. Tried, failed. Leave it alone. And then, like I said earlier, I feel like the Hanlons are going to save everybody. Like, it's written in the stars. We can't lose. None of them. Not in this. Like, not in this season. Right? Now, whatever happened between 1962 and 1987 ain't my business. But I'm just saying, I would love to have a show and a series where we escape and every Black person lives like that. That is so important to me. And then the last thing I want to talk about is not really a prediction or anything like that, but I just didn't know where else to put it. It took, and it is still taking everything in me to not call Hank out his name. My dude. This man looked a gift horse in the mouth and said, I'm gonna just climb in. Just say, I'm gonna just climb in. Pennywise likely is the reason that whole bus went down. And instead of escaping, instead of going to tell your mama that you are okay because she is afraid that she will never see you again and you will be dead soon, you went to the white lady? Oh my God. The only reason I'm not calling him all types of names is because said white lady got on base and found Charlotte and was like, girl, need some help. And so we're seeing that she's someone who is aware of the weird stuff that's happened in this town just from her dealings with Lilly alone. She's showing that she believes her. And this goes back to what I was saying earlier. I feel like there's like fragments of memories that some of these adults have that they can't explain. And some have either drank it away, smoked it away, drugged it away, or whatever. But I feel like this lady had a similar thing happen to her. And it's on the edges of her memory and she can't quite explain. And so every time Lilly is interacting with her, it's kind of maybe bringing up another memory. And so I feel like that's kind of going to explain a little bit of these other adult stories. We don't need to go like super deep, but again, with Francis experiencing that, and then of course, as you move away and stuff like that, did this lady move out of town and then come back? Has she always lived in this town? Like, I don't know. I just feel like kind of bringing more adults into the fold will give credibility to the stories that the children are saying that can actually make the police act in some way, shape, or form by being like, oh, it's not this Black man doing all of this. It's something entirely different. Who knows? But Hank gets y'all every time. And with that, we are going to wrap up this episode of the podcast. Y'all know the drill. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave comments in the comments box below. If you got people that only want to listen, make sure you share the Spotify and the Apple Podcast link. You can also find me on Instagram at So There's That Podcast, where I share film and TV news, as well as links to articles that I post on Substack. You can find me on TikTok at Kivanchi, where I post short form reviews and recaps on things that I do not talk about on the podcast. You can find me on Twitter, my main page at Kivanchi, where I talk about everything under the sun. And you can also find the official podcast Twitter page at Pod. So there's that. And again, this is just a gentle reminder that I will be moving exclusive behind the scenes content of my life and my interests and all the other stuff that don't necessarily fit on this platform to Patreon in 2026. Yesterday, I already aired just kind of like an example of what's to come with the game night, where we had to guess that movie in a game called Poorly Explained Movies. And in December, we're going to be bringing something to the platform as well. But come January 2026, we'll be moving over to Patreon. So if you want to see more of just like what I do, some processes, games, just chill stuff outside of this realm, outside of like being a critic, journalist, podcaster, filmmaker, stuff like that. It'll still include some of those things, but it'll just have everything else. Just kind of showing another side of who I am, unleashing my interests and sharing that with people who rock with me, like for real, for real, for real. So put that on y'all's calendars. The link to Patreon will be in the description box in December. So everybody will have a chance to subscribe with the different membership tiers. And then yeah, we're gonna have some fun. I'm excited. But yeah, your girl gotta go to work. You know, I have multiple jobs and things that I do. So I'll catch y'all in the next podcast episode.